again, everybody, and welcome to another Body and Soul Expo. My name is Bruce Starr. I'm your host, and we are getting more and more excited about our second expo, the first of its kind in North Palm Beach County. And we just had such a great event back in October. We had such a wonderful response. Lorin and I just said, let's do another one. So as you can see right over here, right over there, May 9th and 10th, 2026. But there's going to be a very exciting event on May 8th that we are going to be letting people know. We are going to be one of three places in the world that will be hosting a world premiere of a movie called Your Money Vibes. Those of you that know The Secret, this is a follow-up to The Secret. And many of the same presenters that were in The Secret are in this movie. And it's going to be very exciting. We're one of three places in the world that will be premiering it. And it's just going to be the 8th of Friday, and now also May 9th and 10th for the expo. And we are excited about continuing to present wonderful vendors, so many new vendors that we didn't know before. It's very exciting. Lots of people coming back, but so many people that are new to us that they have such unusual, incredible skills. And this is no different right now. Marinna Rose is someone that we met recently, and I'm going to let her tell you what she does because it's a little bit hard for me to explain it. So, Marinna Rose, welcome to the Body and Soul Expo. It's great to have you.
Hi, Bruce. Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I'm honored that you guys invited me. I can already tell that you guys have the right energy to facilitate and produce something like this. I know what it takes to do that. So I know what you guys are holding for that. So thank you for doing that.
Well, only people whose energies are equal to each other. We're flying at the same level, and that's how you recognize each other. And in my relationship work, I teach people if you're flying down here at a lower level and you want to meet someone up here at a higher level, it's not going to happen. It's just like the airplanes. They fly at different levels so they don't run into each other. So we have to raise our vibration. And when we do, we get to meet people flying at that higher vibration. And that's what this expo is going to be all about. So, Marinna, tell us about you, where you were kind of born, brought up, and what your childhood was like, and how that brought you to who you are today.
Oh yeah, goodness. Yeah, it actually is like most people, a major part of what carved me and sculpted me to be here to even talk to you, right? To even be on this journey. So I grew up in Dover, New Hampshire. People may be more familiar with Portsmouth. It's the seacoast of New Hampshire. So little town. Had kind of a normal childhood. Not, I wouldn't say the easiest. Some, back then. Um, Parents got divorced when I was 9, so that was a big, impact, for myself anyway. And from there, that's kind of where I started seeing I've become a person that can see timeline patterns and where the impacts, it's like the little cog in the wheel. So where we get stuck, and then it's like as adults, we're still operating from that system. So my own journey, personal journey, has allowed me through the embodiment of that to see that in myself. And then now I see that very quickly in others. So that's sort of my short story. I started working very young. Actually, I started working in nightclubs when I was 9. So I grew up very quickly. Little old soul, I guess. So I've always been around connecting with a different type of person. Let's see what else. So then, as I progressed onto my older years, the biggest piece of my puzzle that shifted me to get where I am now is I quit drinking about 25 years ago. And I was so passionate about helping people see different pathways to shift their addictive behaviors. It doesn't come in just alcohol, it comes in shopping, food, you name it. And I put on a telesummit for freedom from addictive behaviors. I think it was back in 2011, 2012. And I interviewed 26 different speakers. One of them, Dr. Bruce Lipton, which I think is part of
Yeah.
so he actually came on, I interviewed him. So love to meet him in person. But one woman that I interviewed on this telesummit read hands, that's how I got into this, specifically to help people with their addictive patterns. And to do a better interview, I asked her to do a quickie read for me. I paid her to do like a 15-minute read. And within that 15 minutes, what she uncovered for me was life changing. She told me things that I knew since I was a little girl that I was here to do, but I had never discussed with anyone before. Just some, knowings. I get knowings that are downloaded, and it was right there in my hands. And when I heard that for the first time from outside of me, and it was really, when we decode the lines and the hands, it's just a blueprint and a map, and it's your soul speaking to you. It's saying, it's giving you permission to finally do what you're here to do. And it changed my life. So that's what got me on this entire path since 2012. It's been pretty life-changing. Within that time frame, I worked for a private corporation. I was a corporate flight attendant for a private CEO for over 20 years. So I have a lot of exposure and experience of international travel and being in rooms with leaders and executives, and having the ice skates on of what that looks like. And I've learned to see the other aspects of successful people, why they get successful, where the governor is that stops, the cog in the wheel. I see that we get very successful by being, a lot of us are driven from our distortions. And then when we get very successful, sometimes unconsciously, we don't want, or we're nervous about getting on the other side of that mountain to be completely whole, because that's what made us successful. So that's what I've been able to observe through my years, and that gives you a little bit of window into my life. But so for the last 15 years I've been doing this work, I've specialized in my own personal international retreats with women, and in recent years I've started branching into 4-day-long conference workshops with about 40 women, similar to what you guys are doing, but on a smaller basis, and overnight stays, and just having fun with it. So
We'll have to talk more about the retreats, because it's certainly a goal of mine to take the different work that I do as a relationship coach, and also the Body and Soul Expo, and do more intimate work on retreats. So we definitely have to talk more about that. Now, some people would ask, are you a palm reader? Are you a palm reader, or is it the same or different?
it's different. So what I do is based on ancient palmistry, but also blended with science-backed research. So it's called the base modality that I use for everything, that I've now created into my own methodology, is scientific hand analysis. Richard Unger, who's based in California, was the originator of it. He studied, I think it was over 60 years, science-backed research, thousands and thousands of hands. My personal mentor is Kay Packard, who's amazing. She's also in California, so she's who I studied with originally. So it's really a blend of the ancient wisdom, which has a lot of foundation to it, and then following the research scientifically of all the flow connected into the neuroscience of it. So in the last 60 years, I believe it's been solidified that the lines in the palm of our hand are literal blueprint of our neural pathways in our brain.
Wow.
So when I look, this is where I see all the juice, right? So in the fingerprints is where we decode your life purpose, your challenge, and your life path. The fingerprints don't change. So I look at that as like the railroad tracks of your life. They're very important. But the juice is in our operating system. This is where we have our free will when we come to Earth. And it actually changes. So the lines in the palm actually change when our groove in our neural pathway changes, when our perception of the world shifts, right? It does take a little bit, it's about 18 months to 2 years to have it show physically. I mean, any shift is instantaneous, but physically to show it so that it's clarified and confirmed, literally showing me what I specialize is seeing what the cog in the wheel is for you, what's blocking you.
I wish I had spent more time with you at the event that we met each other at, because I'm fascinated by it. Can people like take pictures of their palms and hands and send it to you to do work, or do you have to be together?
Yeah, so I created with my team that I work with, I created a photo app that takes a picture of the palm of your hands, each hand. So I read both of your hands. They're both very important. Typically, the dominant hand that you write with is really what you show more of the outside world that you share with people. And on your non-dominant is more what you'd be introspective with. But so I've created this photo app. It takes both of your pictures of your hands. And actually what I will be offering for only specifically for the attendees for the Body and Soul Expo is I call it your little snapshot of your leadership DNA analysis. So I'm just going to pick one little piece of your puzzle. It's a very, very large puzzle, but every piece gives you a little orchestration of the pendulum swing of every energy has the shadow aspect, right? The suppressed aspect, and then the elevated higher aspect. So I'll pick one piece of the puzzle that I see that I think you will benefit the most from.
And this is all scientifically based and proven from years and years of research and gathering data.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Literally, your heart line is connected to your heart. Your headline. So your heart line is here. It's the first big indent line right under your fingers. The next one is your headline, the longest one dipping down into here. So the headline, I love working with the headline because it's connected right to your thought process, your intellect. So when I see a really short headline, especially on both hands, I know you're a very quick thinker. When you have a long headline, I know that you have a longer processing time, So the other part about doing this work that I love, Bruce, is the more that we understand ourselves, and even when we do it, when I work with families or partners, you understand how your partner processes or loves, right? So when Lorin understands how you love, right? You might like more close, hugs. She may like to be listened to more, right? And literally all of these markings, they show how you function. So it allows each of us to understand and have more compassion for each other. And that's my ultimate goal. That's the other piece of the puzzle that probably is important to talk about, that I didn't tell you about with my journey, is I had a UFO encounter back in 2016. And it was life altering for me. It was like a near-death experience. And too much to tell in this podcast, maybe another one longer. But it brought me to a place of the highest capacity I ever thought to hold compassion in the human body. And it has become a foundation of everything that I do.
Stunning.
So that coupled with, being able to look at your soul's blueprint and then show you the depth of that and what compassion can bring, it's all about us having compassion for ourselves, right? In our own journey first.
My goal in doing these podcasts, one of them, is to make my vendors superstars way before the expo, because if you send this around and we post it all over the place and people go, oh, wow, I want to see her at the expo.
When people see it a little deeper, then they can, and then they watch the person get the reading too. They understand how connected it is and how it. I love the blend of the intuitive aspect, but it's really just me decoding your soul's messages that it wants to tell you. So I'm not your guide. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not to tell you what to do with it. I just hold the space. I illuminate your system, and I share my stories of what got me to where I am in the moment that I feel may help you see something that maybe you're having a difficult time seeing.
Well, I think people will find this very, very valuable. And I anticipate you being very, very busy at your booth. You're going to have to get like a reservation thing where you have to figure out how many minutes you want to spend with each person. And, every 15 minutes, have a book there where people can fill out so they don't have to stand over you and wait, but can come back at 1:15 or 2:30 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And
actually, I actually do the photo app so that I actually have a private session with you on the phone after I send you actually a PDF report of the one marking too.
wow.
It's quite it's an amazing opportunity because just finding out that a one piece of your puzzle can alter your life. So
Wow, that sounds great. The more I get to know you, the more impressed I get.
and I'm really excited that we met. I'm really excited that you guys gave me the opportunity to come back to work with you guys. And yeah, I would love to dive into a reading, do just a reading with you so that people can see a little deeper of what the work is.
Well,
What I've been focusing more on too, is working with teams, leadership teams, corporate teams, doing single blueprint analyses with each person, and then the cohesive group. It's blowing me away, Bruce. Like the shifts are just incredible.
well, there may be ways that we might be able to work together in the future because I want to put together relationship weeks and weekends, and
Yeah,
I want to bring in secret weapons to help people find each other. So we have a lot to talk about.
yeah. Well, I'll have to say this is a priceless secret weapon that, when people talk about especially when you're in a business, strategy, adding strategy, finances, this is literally when you work with me, it literally you become your own tool. You don't need the strategy. You are the strategy. It's like you become the magnet because you become whole in the body and in the soul.
Wow.
It's incredible. But so the when you talk about bringing people together in retreat, if you don't mind me just mentioning that I am, and I'd love to have you guys. I'm doing a leadership conference at Starr Island in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, at the end of August,
Wow.
and it's a I'm producing the event. I'm looking to make quite a large capacity conference. So, and that's going to be the topic is all about conscious leadership. Um, so I'd love to talk to you guys more about that, but that's
Yeah.
where I grew up. That's my little spot that I grew up. It's my favorite place. It's a island 7 miles off the coast of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They have a historic hotel there, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I told you I went to Northeastern University and spent 10 years in Boston.
Oh,
And
that's right. Yes.
so,
Yeah.
it's
You're
uh
familiar.
Rockingham was someplace that we used to go to. I think there's a racetrack there of sorts. And
Yes.
me and the boys used to go up there from time to time and
Yes.
lose whatever money we had. But it was
Right.
fun. It was a lot of fun. So the last thing I want to talk about is we're going to give you an opportunity to share what you do and what you know. And do you have anything in particular? Do you have a direction that you see yourself going to when you do speak?
Yeah. So when I speak, I typically talk about heart-led leadership. That's my big focus right now on every aspect of specifically, what I focus on is using our vulnerability issues, using the cog in the wheel, our blocks, is our biggest gift for our humble leadership, standing in leadership. And I also discuss, everybody, not everybody, a lot of people lead from the head, right? Lead from the intellect. And it's great when we are highly intelligent, very well versed intellectually, but then sometimes that can get in the way of the highest capacity of leadership because we're blocked in the heart space. And so what I teach is leading from the heart and allowing the mind to follow, like allowing the heart to be the leader. And through that, divinely, everything is organically, it unfolds. It's a complete opposite is where I teach from. And then because when we're working from the mind, we do a lot of whether we are aware of it or not, Bruce, there's manipulation happening because maybe, like, for example, in this podcast, if I cared if you liked me or if I cared if people understood me, I would say, oh, I need to say this, X, Y, and Z. But then I see that as like that's a lowering of my vibration of the words, right? But if I'm speaking right from the heart and saying, this is who I am, this is what I have to offer, you receive that on a frequency level in your heart, and it bypasses your conscious mind. And that's what I want you to feel. And that's what I want you to receive from me, because that's the highest exchange I can give.
Many, many levels and layers to you, my dear. Goodness gracious. A 15-minute podcast is not going to even take a spoon into that gelatin that you've got
Yes.
going there. So, Marinna Rose, thank you so much for being with us, and we will investigate a lot more in the future.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for having me.